Hello. It is day number 300. Yes, you heard me right. 300, 300 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. And we have our number 300 service hero, Jason Cisneros. Cisneros. I hope I said it right. But I want to talk about Coach Jason. To many, he is known 10, and then there were 5. However, I have known him a little longer than that, at least known of him for the last couple of years, and been watching what he's been doing in the philanthropic world. He deserves to be today's service hero for many different reasons. He takes public stands. This man, who is a businessman, is a man that many respect, and he gets things done. He also is a man with a heart, and he's not afraid to show it. In fact, many times you'll see it on his hat. I want to welcome you today, Jason. Thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure. And I'll just go ahead and show the hat right now since you said it.
Well, yes, because, it's a dear friend. Go ahead and put it on if you want. And if you don't, That's fine too. But because actually I know of you, and I've known of you for a while because of Kat Dawn. I met Kat when I was just new in the nonprofit world. She and I were at an event that was celebrating nonprofits and how nonprofits can work with for-profits, and that's called cause marketing, guys. There's a lot to that. And she and I actually had a chance to visit because we were both at a place in our nonprofits that we were looking. We knew we had something. We knew we had something so important that we needed to take out to the world. We were trying to find the right vehicles. And I ended up going one way and have been growing it, our nonprofit, which I'm very proud of. And I all of a sudden noticed that Kat was hanging around with you. And amazing things were happening. And I want to say thank you for that, because I know that this is a subject that's near and dear to your heart. So I would like for everybody to, though, hear what's happening right now. And then we're going to take them back, and then we'll finish it with a nice bow again with what we're doing. So we'll just start it there, though, because many people know about the Next Impactor. If they have been on social media at all, and if they are at all, my friend, they've probably been tagged by it.
You're getting hammered Next Impactor all the time, right?
Yeah. It is what it is. But I think it's genius. And you've been around since the beginning, and probably even before it started. And I'd love to hear about this, because it's genius when you think about this. We, as a society, we put on huge pedestals our entertainers, are the people that are willing to go out there and play some really ridiculous games and win at the end of the day, which there's nothing wrong with any of that. However, what we haven't seen a lot of is people that are actually out there willing and able to make a difference, and they just need a forum. And we have that now. It's called the Next Impactor, and you've been here since the beginning. Do you mind giving a little bit of light on the subject?
Well, it's exactly. Number one, thanks for having me on your show. You are such a light. I just love watching everybody that you interview, all of the work that you're doing. And, I often say, in smart alecky ways, and sometimes, just brutal ways, I always say the people that have been through the worst end up being the best people, right? The ones that don't let it make them bitter, it makes them better. And so you are a shining light of that. And, I know obviously I'm a coach, I've got my own team, but everybody on my team is a fan of yours, as a matter of fact. So,
wow. Thank you, team, Jason.
Yeah, especially Christopher, Christopher's a favorite of all of ours, right?
Yeah. Is he not? Everybody that's a fan of this show knows Christopher too, because, of course he's been a service hero. However, he's just spectacular. You can't help but just adopt him.
It's tough not to love him. I always give him crap because of his hair, because it's so amazing Like his hair is the best. And, he's always like, you know,
I know.
in the wind and stuff. And he's like, he does.
He's got better hair than I do. Now, I will say, for those that don't know, I did go bald. I don't know if you go bald on choice or not. I didn't go by choice. Well, I guess you could say it was by choice. I wanted to live, but but I had a lot of hair before I went bald, and it always comes back a little different. So when I see him doing that, I'm like, oh, memories,
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the way I felt, there's two things, right? God only made a few perfect heads. He put hair on the rest of them. So there's one. And then the second one was my favorite story is I was going to speak at a cancer ward at a children's hospital in Florida. And I was waiting out in the waiting room to go in and talk to the kids. And there was this older gentleman, and he had a Navy hat on. He was, he had to be 85, 90 years old. And the thing that caught my eye about him was he had this T-shirt on that had a picture of his wife, right? And it said, "True love never dies." And so I wandered over to him and started asking him, and he goes, "Yeah, my wife died 5 years ago. And I wear this shirt." He says, "I have about 20 of them. My daughter helps me keep them clean and stuff." He wears it. He said, "I wear it every day." He started pulling pictures out of his wallet and, just telling these amazing stories of when he went away to the war and came back, and his heart was so fantastic. And right as I was getting ready to leave, he says, "Jason, let me tell you something that my wife used to tell me. You're not bald, honey. It's a solar panel for a love machine."
Okay.
And so
I love that.
Right?
Our buddies have got to start adopting that one. We should do a shirt or something like that for the buddies. Because,
yes,
and thank you for going to the Children's Cancer Ward, because, that's not always an easy place to go. And yet there's so much hope there. There's so much hope.
It's all about really working with people that don't really have a choice for the things that they're going through. You know what I mean? And that's where I focus a lot of my time, where, when you look at the next impact, or going back to the question that you were talking about here, when Lauren called me up and he said, "Hey, this is an idea." And Lauren's got lots of really amazing ideas all the time. And Power of We, and some other things that I've been involved with him. And he asked, and I immediately said yes, because the principle is that, as you were saying, so many people out there are being rewarded on these platforms for popularity, right, as opposed to impact. And that's okay. I mean, everybody, entertainment has its place. It really does. But we really, the day and age I think that we're seeing a dawn of is the dawn of the impactor, right? The dawn of the impactor. And that means that people that are doing real things that because I always tell everybody, everybody tells me all the time, "Jason, it doesn't seem like you have an agenda." Oh, hell yeah, I do. Oh, hell yes, I do. I have an agenda. I have an angle. And the angle is, I think that when you get driven to the bottom, this better than probably anybody, because, when you get driven to the bottom of your life, you have a choice. You have a choice to check out and go away, right? And move on to whatever's next. You have a choice to come back and be bitter as hell and just kind of wait it out. Or you have a choice to say, "You know what? This entire life is like it's like a blank sheet of paper, a blank canvas that I can paint anything I want to, and nobody can stop me, and nobody was stopping me in the past, and I don't live by anybody else's standards except for my own, and the only person that I can impact in my entire life is going to be me first," right? So you lose all the judgy bitch stuff. You lose all of the, oh, sorry, I didn't ask if I could cuss on your show or not, but I have a hard time not.
Yeah, and let me just tell you, at some point in time, I'll go through the multiple messages we have for you. But go ahead. Yeah, just be you, because, okay, guys, we have an impactor here that has a little bit of colored language, and you'll be hearing about that in a little bit. So if you need to like escort some people out of the room, this is the time to do it. Okay, we've taken that moment. Okay, go for it.
Good. We've given them the explicit warning. Okay. So, but anyway, so the point being is that now we live in a day and age where when you make that choice, who are you going to follow? Who are you going to listen to? And a lot of times, you know, the whole reason why I got really invested into like my comedy, the stuff that I'm doing now, was because I worked with celebrities at a super high level, and I know to bring eyeballs to what are, you know, underage, the rescues of underage sex slaves, to you know, to Feed a Billion, to New Dawn, which is domestic violence, which is where I have a lot of area, to cancer, to veterans issues, you know, things of that nature. And I worked with them, and I saw not all of them, but for the most part, they didn't really care about whatever subject it was. They were looking for the big check, the 5 minutes of showing up, which fine. Trade, you know, it was trading those eyeballs for their celebrity. And so at the end of the day, what I decided was, what if we could all become a celebrity of our own and drive eyeballs? Because, you know, I have been blessed in my life to go from absolutely nothing, less than nothing actually, right? Where I was bankrupt. I went bankrupt 3 times in a row, which drove me to being worth negative $2.3 million. Okay. Everybody's saying, oh, I'm broke. I'm like, you don't have any money in the bank, or you have like $10. You know, it took me $2.3 million to get back to being broke. I had a party that day. I was like, yes, I'm officially broke today.
I'm at zero.
I got zero. Woo! Yeah. And so, you know, you go through all of that, and you learn these lessons. And you start to understand that the people that you want to be around are genuine impactors, right? And so I said, and then I've actually learned some skill sets, which is my consulting company. We teach businesses. People from Harvard, like I didn't graduate from high school, right? And I have Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Wharton School of Business. These people are all my clients now, right? On one side, and then I bought businesses and fixed them on my private equity side, which I just exited out of that business, as I was telling you before. But all of that to be said, what is that if we could use celebrity, and I don't really need the money anymore, so if we make it just about impact, and right about like this happened about 2 years ago, we started having this discussion, really went all in about a year ago. And it's just been crazy. Last year alone, we raised $3 million for these different charities, right? With all the different efforts.
Yeah.
And so it comes down. So now I help business owners that are trying to make more money so they can do more good. And then also on the philanthropy side, you mentioned a New Dawn, where they were going to build a 70-bed facility, and they had a 5-year plan. There's my girl. Right. A 5-year plan. And we got the thing done in 18 months.
Congratulations.
Right? And it's all due to her and to her girls and to the, you know, and to the her dedication to principles and process and procedure and all of the things that everybody's like, oh, you know, the greatest it's like the greatest funnel program and all this other kind of bull crap that you hear about out there. No, principles of business and hard work.
Right.
They're still here. And any get rich, you know, pea on a flower and it's going to magically grow $1,000 bills for you. That stuff is all nonsense. You know, it's still, there's principles of
I was going to say my money tree is no longer any good anymore. That image I've been putting up, I thought I captured it. I didn't. I was going to put it up. But no, I love what you're saying. Go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry that I interrupted you. It's just like, oh, that was too good.
Right. Well, the point is that this show called The Next Impactor comes along. And it meets and aligns with it checks off every box of things that I'm working on. And what, you know, so we have a bunch of people apply, and we have a bunch of people that want to become impactors. And I'm like, yes, I get to coach, right? I get to help Lauren on the business side of putting this thing together. I get like it checks off all of my boxes contribution wise, right?
Mhm.
So we did it, and man, what a trip! You've been involved. Like, what a trip! You can't make up a lot of the things that have happened on the show along the way. That Jeff and Lauren, who were the founders and the people that thought it up, they were like even blown away, and still to this day are blown away by the different things that they've learned.
Mhm.
And so the reason why I love it is because, people like you, people like Christopher, people like Kimberly Lechnick, people like Kat Dawn, people like that, all of the impactors. I could go through all of them, but that's who is changing the world.
Mhm.
And there's spheres of influence. When you get to know Kat, it's get on board or get out of the way. You know what I mean?
And she may need some disclaimers in there too with her, the way she talks. I love it because she's just who she is. You listen to Kat when she used to go live a lot, and it would be like, oh, there's another bomb. There's another one. But it was always such good information, and it was so real. And she would talk about her girls, and she would talk about what it is and who it is that she's serving. And she'd have her wins and she'd have her losses, and you couldn't not let it always just grabbed your heart and your soul. Like,
why? You know why? Because truth is overcoming bullshit, right? And it's happening everywhere. When you watch what's going on, and again, this isn't political statement, it's just when you watch a bunch of these fake politicians going, why did Trump win? It's because the guy just says what's on his mind, whether you like him or you hate him, right? If Democrats they need somebody that comes along that is speaking truth, like Tulsi Gabbard, right? Tulsi Gabbard is the closest thing, and they're not letting her come forward, right? Because she's speaking truth. And that's why people like Kat. That's why they're tired of the polished whitewashing when they know people that are relationships experts are in terrible ones. People that are giving money advice have none. People that are telling you how to grow a business don't own one. People that are telling you how to fix your employees don't have any. And their employees that they do have hate them. Like it's, you know what I mean? We're entering to this new phase of life and of the world that transparency and reality is it's a value.
Mhm.
It's of value. And so if somebody says the F word, and as opposed to somebody that's hiding behind a Bible, and I don't mean to denigrate the Christians or religion at all, because
right. Thank you.
because I do believe that there's a God. I know two things. I know there is a God, and I know I'm not him or her, right? That's the only certainty that I have. As much as I try to act like it, I'm working on becoming a God, right? Small G. But other than that, it's
well, okay, I see a cartoon happening here soon.
Well, it's called Avenger. Like, I don't know which direction I have to move the thing here, but that's the. Oh, did I mess something up there?
No, you're good.
Oh, you got it. There you go.
Yeah,
you got it there. Yeah.
I did it.
So I can't see myself on where we are on the screen, but anyway, so
we're good.
It's the Bald Avenger. It's the Bald Avenger. I'll move this back because my face is
okay. So the Bald Avenger. All right, let's take this backwards now. Okay, so we've kind of gone over the kind of like, all right, we're involved with the next impactor and how that kind of got you brought in and a little bit about your background. Let's dive a little deeper into some of the stuff you were talking about, because I think it's going to be very interesting for everybody. I know it's going to be interesting for me. I'm curious. You said that not only did you not graduate from high school, mm-hmm. that you basically, I know some of your story mm-hmm. of that time, but I don't know that everybody does. So it was pretty tough. Mm-hmm. And then you end up going bankrupt 3 times. Now, how do you do that? Did you wait?
It takes
You know,
a
like, I'm
special
thinking,
skill set.
the math in there. I'm thinking, did you get it going again and then declare again, or was it in different entities?
It
So
was
I'm
different entities. Like I
okay.
had to work really hard at it, and because it takes a lot of talent to be able to go bankrupt. By the way, I'll come back to this later, but me going bankrupt 3 times literally just saved one of my clients $18 million. A little over $18 million. We'll come back to that.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Okay.
your experiences, right? This is a good thing for your audience to understand, is your experiences in failure are usually extraordinarily valuable to people who haven't gone through them yet.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
I agree with you 100%. Absolutely, without a doubt. Yes.
Yeah. And when I told you earlier, I wasn't bragging about the fact that I have Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Wharton School of Business as clients. They hire me because of what a giant failure I was. And they wanted to avoid those issues, right?
You know what to look for.
And what to look for and what to know and what not to do.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I lost track of what your original question was. So, okay, how did I go bankrupt? So yeah, you mentioned
to start, kind of taking us from the backstory now, to come forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I this is important, and I'm going to tell the story not because I like telling my story. I've told it 1,000 times, and it starts to irritate me at a little while at a certain point. But the point is that everybody does what they know until they decide not to. Okay. So I was adopted when I was really young by a guy who married my mother, and he was really abusive. He was a drug dealer. He was a bad guy. Okay. And from the time I was 6 years old, I started stepping in front of my mom to take her beatings as often as I could. This pretty nose that you see on my face right now has been busted over a dozen times. And he went to prison when I was 17 for attempted murder of me and my mom. Now, what did I do when he was extricated from my life? I did what I knew. I started dealing drugs. I was really good at fighting because I'd been fighting a grown-ass adult my entire life. So I was really good at fighting. And so I was good at collecting money. I knew how to do all of that stuff. And that's what I did up until a point where I got I could, flashing my chest, but I got stabbed in the chest. And that was my second to last drug deal that I ever did. I got stabbed in the chest. As soon as the knife went in my chest, I remembered a phrase out of the Bible, because that's when I would get beat up. I would get locked in my room, and I had a Bible in there, and that was really, I didn't read it from a religious standpoint. I read it as a series of stories, right? And there was this moment when that knife went in my chest that it said that the phrase came in, the sins of the father born onto the children. And my son was born a couple of days prior to me getting stabbed in the chest, my first son.
Really?
And so it was like, boom, as if I live through this, I am done, because now it's not about me anymore. It's about my son, right? And it's about those decisions. We do what we know up until the day that we decide not to. And that was the day. Now, what changed the day after that? Nothing. I was healing. I had to tell everybody I was out. Like there was, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know. It didn't change. And that's what the problem with a lot of the world, and what the next impactor is providing for everybody, is to say, just because you make the decision today, now the hard work starts.
Right. Yeah.
But you've already been doing hard work. In other words, living a life that wasn't meant for you, that was given to you by your parents, and that was forced upon you by belief systems that didn't belong in your brain in the first place. You've already been doing hard work. Mm-hmm. So now, what I like to say, we started a hashtag called the right hard work, right? That's what
that's good.
It's the right hard work, because you're either doing the wrong hard work of dealing with the stuff that's been foisted upon you and forced into your brain as far as belief systems go, or you wake up and you start to make decisions for your own self. You understand that these divisions between Republicans and Democrats is a complete fantasy, made up story that you're buying into for other people's power and finances, right? And you start to understand that your parents only taught you the best that they knew how, because that's what they knew.
Right.
You know, society, whether you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're lesbian, you're straight, you're Asian, you're whatever it is, that the society has given us stories that help us divide ourselves from other people. And now the stories, which the next impactor, the life that I live today, the life you live, is how do we bring people together again?
Right.
Under the reality that we all have the same beating heart. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. If you believe that the intellect or your potential or your whatever it is has anything to do with the pigmentation in your skin today in 2019, you are an idiot, right? You are stupid. Okay. I don't use that.
Let's say it like it is. That's right.
You know, if you care about what people are doing in their bedroom, you're an idiot. There's so much stuff that you have to deal with as a human being, staring yourself in the mirror, that you shouldn't have enough time to talk behind people's back, to come up with rumors. Did you know what happened with Tamara? Did you know what was going on with Kat? You know what Jason did? Like, you don't have to guess with me. I did an entire episode of the Bald Avenger podcast where I told everything about myself. I wrote a book about everything about myself. So you don't have to guess. Yes, I've done some bad shit. No, I'm not a bad person, right? And that's what I believe about most human beings.
I agree with you 100%. There's not one person that's alive that can claim that they've had that perfect life. If they can, hey, you know what? Let us know, and I'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah, I would like to come watch them walk on water.
Yeah, because exactly, and that's what I love about this too. And thank you for being so real and raw right now. And I love listening to you because of the fact that you say what you're thinking. Mm-hmm. And what you're saying, it comes out maybe in your color. It comes out in your color. However, it is so universal. It's like you're saying, it doesn't matter what color of skin. It doesn't matter this or that. And anybody that really listens to what your words are and where you're coming from, your heart, should be able to say, you know, he's talking my language. He's talking my language, because heart to heart language is different than word to word language. Mm-hmm. Soul to soul language is different, you know, and it's that's what I'm hearing from you right now. That's what I'm feeling and grabbing from you. And many are like, yep. I mean, that's exactly what Mary just put. Yep.
Oh, you know? I love Mary. She is an amazing human being too. Mm-hmm. This is the thing about the next impactor, to go, you know, to keep down the path that I know I keep wandering off of.
It's all right. I took you down the rabbit hole. It's all right. It's my fault. You can, you know, you don't have to own that one. It's good.
One of the things that I told Lauren, and he said it on a live that I've done with him, right? One of the things that I told Lauren before he ever launched this show was, I said, just know people are going to bring who they are to the competition. Right. Just because they're in a competition to be the next impactor, they're going to bring all of the shit. This is everything that comes with them. Good, bad, and the ugly are going to come with them to the show. Yeah. And how they react in real life to real life challenges, that is going to be 100% how they react in this show. And I said, that means you're going to get blamed. You're going to get accused. You're going to get held up as being better than you are. You're going to, you know what I mean? Like, all of these things are going to come together. And
human nature will prevail with many, you know, it's just like, you're right. They're gonna just, whatever it is that they do, it's like what you were saying, until you decide to make that change. You know, it's like you keep doing the same thing, you keep doing until you decide to make that change. And unless any of these people that are that you're talking about in human nature, unless they decide to make that change for some reason, then that's what they're going to be. That's the true self is going to come out.
Always. And that's 100% been the case. And that just because you decide that you're going to change your life, now you have to do the work, right?
Right.
And then who are you going to learn from? Like, we've got 5 amazing coaches. You know, each one of us has a different background, and each one of us has a different story. And the coaches, you know, from Melissa to Vicky to Cheryl to Todd, like, you know, they're my competition, but I'm loving watching them grow as well, you know. And the messages and the different things that they have been going through, and it's just really, really great. It's a great competition for a lot of different reasons, but ultimately all change is local, right? All change is local. And that means that when you look around you, are people doing better or worse for having known you?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Self-reflection. Absolutely.
It's a measurement, you know.
Yeah,
when you look around you, and that's a part where, you know, it separates, because as you get into being an impactor, now what kind of an impactor are you going to be? You know, a lot of, you know, and you've seen, I throw myself at fundraisers, I throw myself at helping, you know, in philanthropic ways, until I find out the heart, you know, the heart of the person who's running it. And if the heart is off, I'm out, right? If it's about them, I'm gone. If it's about the people that they're trying to serve, like Kat, you know, she gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's got a family of her own. She gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning and runs. She goes to court with these women. She goes, like, they're like, you know, January with Soap to Hope. These women that I work with in the domestic violence, you know, in that realm, they give of themselves. And that's what I watch you do, right? It's not just yak. It's not about you. It's literally taking your experience and your energy and your power and standing up and in front of for those people who can't. And that is the decision right there. That's the decider between an impactor and people who is sucking the life and the resources out of this country and out of this world, because all they want to do is sit around and bitch and moan about what they don't have.
And they're, you know, this is the way. Okay, let's just take the next impactor off the table right now, and just say, in like all of the service heroes, you're number 300.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's going to be fun images. I can just see it already now.
I know. One of my favorite movies, too, by the way.
It doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, so you take the 300. Actually, there's 301 service heroes or service hero concepts that have been discussed. Okay, and each one, I started this because my buddies needed to see that there were people in the world doing good stuff, because they were really starting to believe the bad news. And many of the stage 4s were just saying, you know, I'm out of here. And so then I'd listen, and then it would be, I need a little help, you know, kind of to that. And if they were willing to say, well, what do you need? I knew they weren't really out of here. They just were hearing the wrong information. They were getting the wrong messages. So when I was challenged with this, I thought, how can it serve my buddies without it being in their face in the very beginning? Right? They know now the jig is up, but in the very beginning, they had no clue. That's why it's on this page rather than the Chemo Buddy page. And then I tried moving it, and no one could find it. So, you know, there it is. But these individuals, all of them are people that if you start looking at each one of their lives, they don't have time. They don't have time. You know, like to be worried about this. And did you see that? And like, whenever I'm asked, I'm like, what? When? How? I have barely time to go to my email. People have to text me to say, you have an email. Go look at it. Yeah. Or I'm sorry, you know, people know, you know, it's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to avoid you. However, you know.
However, I'm trying to avoid you.
Yeah. Maybe some, but most no. You know, if I want to talk to them, they have my number, then, and they text me, then most likely I don't want to avoid them.
For sure.
But the thought here is, if I'm going to spend time with someone, it's going to be one of my buddies. It's going to be someone that I can actually know it's going to help them to make a difference. There's, you know, the people, that's why I keep thinking, okay, you have time for that? You know what? I have something that if you want something to do, I can really use your time, because obviously you might have a little. You can be going there. And so and because I know that, and let's be honest with because we are, is that anytime there's anything new, anytime there's anything that someone's trying to do that had, like what we're doing with the buddies. I wasn't after trying to start a new nonprofit in a cancer space that's going to be global. However, there wasn't anything like this, and so it was needed, and you got to do what you got to do. However, with that said, when you have something new, it's not going to be perfect. I crashed and burned 3 websites trying to build it myself, and I didn't even have a Facebook page. That's pretty funny, right? Okay. So, but
well, how did you do that? You were all judgy about me crashing 3 companies. How did you crash 3 websites?
Well, you know what? I did it with YouTube. And YouTube didn't have the right question, or I couldn't find the right answer. So I pushed the wrong button. Usually that's how it worked. But, the bottom line here is you can either say, how did you go bankrupt 3 times? Or you can say, boy, you got to that point and you were building, and here you didn't even have a high school diploma. It's a matter of what side of the coin are you coming from, and so of course I was more fascinated by the math. Okay, 7 years plus 7 plus 7, you're not that old, and so that's why it was like more of a chess question, okay, what's this, how did this work on the pieces on the board? And when you have something like the Next Impactor, and you may crash and burn the website, you may do whatever it may be because you're doing something that no one else has done. And I believe in looking at, because we're not quite halfway through the month yet, and we have some big dates coming up that are going to be like hard, fast rules here. This cuts this, then that cuts that, and then they do this, and then we all show up, and then the top 25 get to have their day, and then the top 5, and then the first one is crowned. Okay, so that is pretty exciting. Has it been perfect?
No. It hasn't been perfect, and I don't expect season 2 to be perfect. We've learned so many things, and here's the cool thing I will say about all of you 25 that remain, the original 50 that joined, and everybody that applied, right, is that there has been one of the greatest things that I have watched, because we've done some Facebook Lives on it, is that when people are tempted to say, well, did you know this and did you know that? And they start to get on the phone, right? One of the things that I think is one of the weakest human traits that you can possibly have is enrolling other people in your own disbelief.
Right.
Right? I think that is one of the weakest human traits that exists, is when you don't like something, that's fine. Don't do it, right? Go away, but don't take a bunch of people with you to justify you being a quitter, Right.
Yeah, to make you feel better. Well, but this person and that person, well, they wouldn't have if you hadn't opened your mouth, right?
And who knows whose destiny you're stealing? What if I would have listened? Like, what if I would have gone through and they would have, because my time with Tony Robbins and all of the different things that I've done, and one person would have stepped across my path, and instead of that's Tony. By the way, that picture is Tony and I in a jet on our way to go rescue 36 little girls from the sex trade, and Tony went undercover and went with us. To his credit, the man doesn't have to do any of that. We put 11 traffickers away on that particular trip. And why we're shaking hands is because I finally got to tell him how he changed my life. That was one of the greatest moments of my life to this day. And he was like, I didn't know that. And I've known Tony since, God knows, it's been at least 15 years, right? Maybe a little less than that. But it was the first time, because a lot of people want to get around Tony and it's a celebrity. I don't care. I'm not blown away by celebrity. I don't care. Like it's who you are to me in the moment, whether you're a prisoner, an ex-prisoner, somebody who's going through tough stuff or whatever. But that was the first time. And he's like, why didn't you tell me this sooner? It's like, because it wasn't the right time, wasn't the right time. And so, anyway, thank you for showing that picture. You're very prepared, by the way. I'm super impressed.
Thank you.
But the point, is that you get into this competition, and I was talking about enrolling people. What if somebody would have come across my path that would have discouraged me, right? What would have happened? Where would the $3 million have gone last year, right? The 6 million meals that we've fed people, the little girls and boys around the world that we've taken out of slavery, the women and children in domestic violence. Like, where would they have been? And do you want to carry around? And the problem is that do you want to carry around the guilt of interrupting somebody else's destiny with your weak bullshit? And the problem that asking that question is, Tamara, is that at the end of the day, the people that are trying to enroll people in their own disbelief don't care about other people.
Sad but true. Absolutely sad but true. And what I want to be careful with this in that right now I haven't been putting all the names up here and all of the activity. We have so many of the next impactors on the show with us right now, and they're all like, hooray, and good job, and totally behind what you're saying. And what I believe, okay, this is what I want to say. What I believe is that when someone has a heart like that, the light, there's an element of darkness. I think in light and dark a lot. There's an element of darkness, and with the light getting brighter and brighter and brighter with the good that's happening, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. They have to run away from it. And they're going to, of course, want to justify it, because if they believe that they should be out in the limelight like that, they're going to then have to have an excuse. Right. And that excuse, the more that they can, as you say, enroll others and then get some numbers behind them. And, oh, yeah, this person who may be, really comfortable in the light, they were swayed. And yes, those are the ones that they've been robbed. But why I wanted to be careful here is that maybe a question: what do you believe? That person that felt comfortable in the light, that was swayed, were they comfortable enough in the light?
Again, it comes down to personal responsibility, right? Because see, I have embraced my dark, baby. Because I have some, and
yeah, we all do.
And I like it. I like him a lot, right? And the issue is the dark, like he's a naughty boy, like and the issue.
Oh, you are hilarious. Well, you always make me laugh on any of the feeds that we have. Yeah, live, hashtag sexy, hashtag
right.
Whatever, because and I'm not saying, because there has to be yin and yang in everything. Mm-hmm. There has to be, and so that's why I wanted to be kind of careful with this, because
here's what Tony told me.
Too much. Pardon?
Well, let me tell you what Tony told me that changed my life in this area, right? Okay. Yeah. Is because there's a difference, and what he told me was, because when I got to be okay again, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got my mind right. Yeah. I got my money right. I got my life right again and on the right path. And man, did I feel like I took on this weight of responsibility of reaching back into the dark very seriously, to go find other people that were like me that needed help out. And what I did was what Tony did. He sat me down one day and he goes, Jason, he said, look, you need to stand at the door between dark and light and guide those people that are looking for the light through the door. instead of going into the dark and tackling fuckers who don't want your help.
Right. Oh, I get that. I love it. It's like that image of the door. Okay, we won't go there, but I absolutely get that. I'm a very visual person, so it's a choice. Exactly.
And if they're looking for the light, if they're looking for the light, they need to find you. Right? They need to find Christopher. They need to find Kat. They need to find Amy. They need to find Mary Ziola. They need to find Walt, the Kieslings, like Jody Parr. Like they need to find you all while you're at the door waving and not going in and like hammering yourself down with all that guilt, but bring them over, and find the dark of you that doesn't hurt other people. Right.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
And let that part of it dance with the light. And then you've got something that makes you authentic.
Right.
And I'm authentic. If you love me, you love me. If you hate me, you hate me. And I don't give a shit, because you will not find me acting any different behind the screen as in front of the screen. I am who I am because I'm integrated. And I love who I am. And anybody who doesn't want me to love who I am can kiss my ass. The whole thing.
There you go.
And it's a big one. It's a big bubble butt. You've
been slimming down. You've been working on that. In fact, do I have it here? I was going to grab it. Okay, so
the workout stuff, yeah,
your workout stuff, but I didn't grab it. Okay, so let's keep going, because we could talk forever, and we've got people that are absolutely just loving this. But I'm really glad that you summed that up really well, because yes, that piece that you just said, the dark that hurts others, that is the difference. We all have that light and dark, and that's okay, and that's what we need, because it's the yin and the yang. There has to be a balance in all things. Anybody that's not balanced, there's an issue. And most likely they'll find it. All right. So now we are at the top 25. So I know that right now you are kind of acting as our liaison for the top 25. And I want to say thank you for that. And we have some dates that are coming up that are very important for us to understand. One of them is tomorrow, right?
Yep, one of them is tomorrow.
And I have the image here. There we go. Okay, so on here, one of the dates has already come and gone, the one in July. Now we have the date for tomorrow, August the 12th. That's an important date for all of us to understand, correct?
It is, and also the 23rd.
Yes, and then the 23rd. That is not on this image. And yes, that one, no, it's not.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But yes, let's talk about both of those days, because the 12th and the 23rd. In fact, I know the 23rd very well, because we actually cut it off at the 22nd, because I didn't remember what time in the day it had been said. And I thought, okay, when we were doing the 30-day,
it's always best to have it done a day ahead anyway. It's midnight on the 23rd for everybody that's watching and wondering. Okay. So. But get it done by midnight on the 22nd, and you don't have to worry.
Right. And so for anybody that's not aware, if you haven't gotten your sponsor table yet, you want to make sure to get that completed and taken care of by tomorrow. And so that you can get benefits from it for your cause, for your team. And however you want to put it, Simgrams votes, I like to put it benefits your team and your cause. And so that's an important date. So if you have a sponsor that you're talking to and they haven't made their mind up, you need to get them on the phone and get that done. Then the 23rd at midnight.
Well, and I wanted to also, before we get to the 23rd, I want everybody to understand those tables, those sponsors. I've got a suite at the Peninsula that we're going to be having a party for everybody. It's a pre-party for those people that are going to be sponsoring tables and we're going to have a really good time. This is going to be the really good time before the actual event. And it's going to be in my suite at the Peninsula, one of the nicest hotels in Chicago. And we're going to have a really good time the night before the event. It's going to be right after rehearsal.
Okay.
And all top 25 are invited, and then the sponsors of the table. So the sponsors that get in by tomorrow, they get to hang out with me, and I'm the least cool of the coaches. So, you got everybody else that'll be there, Vicky, and, we'll have all the coaches and Lauren, and hopefully, and, we're Jeff will be there,
Right.
so that's another added bonus for people to get their stuff in.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for doing that. That sounds like a lot of fun. All right. And then on the 23rd, that's a very important date because that's the last day that we can raise money and funds for our nonprofits. Have anybody go into the SimGrams, which I want to personally thank all of the people that have done that for me. I appreciate it. And those that have done it for the other 24 top next impactors, may I also extend my appreciation. And so, because from what I've been told, you got to really want to go in there and register to do it. And many have. And so they need to be recognized. So between the symposium app and raising funds for your nonprofit, that is the cutoff for it to count for you to become the next impactor, correct?
That is 100% correct. It's done. That day, it's done. So whatever, if you were gathering, because I know that there was 3 ways. This is another beautiful thing about the competition. We had the SimGram and and all of that stuff that was set up, and it wasn't perfect. And then we're like, okay, well, you can put together your own GoFundMes and collect money that way. And then there towards the end, we were like, okay, we'll count your votes towards your nonprofit. Like,
right.
It was very, very generous of Lauren and Jeff to do. So, but that day it's over with. And by the way, I was asked by Jeff to ask everybody, all of the top 25 who is watching this, to get in, like get in where you are right now with your charity votes, your personal GoFundMe votes, anything that's outside, because SimGram, they can track everything else they can't. So they want to kind of start getting a heads up on whose hometown videos they're going to play, and
which has to be no more than 3 minutes.
No more than 3 minutes, preferably 2.
Preferably 2. Okay.
But it has to be 3 minutes is fine. But no more, not 3 minutes and 1 second. It's got to be 3.
Right.
So yes.
Right. Okay.
And we're going to do our best. Everybody needs to have that on a thumb drive and have no other data on it, by the way, and have it tagged hometown videos. We're going to look at having a better way of transferring that ahead of time. But for right now, that's the only technology that we need you to bring with you is your hometown video on a thumb drive that doesn't have anything else on it, and have it labeled with that title of hometown videos.
Excellent. Excellent. So now, question I have, because this is the one thing that I'm not quite clear on, and maybe you can share with us. So the top 25 will be there during the day, and then the top 5, and that will be the top 5 of all this that's been gathered by the 23rd, correct?
That's right.
Now, is the top 5 complete, or is it the top from 5 different teams? It's just the top 5.
So what's coming out of what we get on the 23rd, we have to calculate and verify and make sure, because the one thing that makes it a little bit more timely, why we had to put it on the 23rd, is because we've got to go to the charities to verify that when you say, for instance, you got $5,000 that you raise for, Madison House for Autism, right? That's the one that Team Jason picked. We've got to verify with them and get a written verification that says, yes, we got those votes. right?
Okay.
We got those dollars donated. So that's the outcome. And then it starts to coalesce, and nobody, like not even the coaches. This is frustrating for me to be helping. Like I won't even know until that night, right? Who the top 5 are. I won't know. So, none of the coaches get to know. It's Jeff and Lauren only, and probably Jeff's wife, who's,
Okay.
who's
Right.
amazing, and probably Lauren's husband, who's amazing. So,
Okay. Well, we'll give that. I mean, United States and IRS would say, okay, yeah, that's totally fine. They've made
right.
that legal connection. So yeah, okay, yeah, that works. All right. So now the top 5 are on the stage that night. It's black tie. It's think of the Academy Awards comes to the philanthropic world with the black tie. I mean, with the red carpet and interviews and paparazzi and the whole deal going on. Okay, so
Yeah.
the top 5 are up there. Then their 5 hometown videos are shown, whatever else they decide to do. How is it that the number 1 will be chosen? Do we know?
We know by the number 1 is going to be chosen 100% by votes. And
Okay, so it would be whoever had the very most.
That's it. You combine symposium votes, you combine how much money you raised on your GoFundMe's, and how much money you raised for charity. Okay. And that is how the next impactor will be chosen. 100%. Just like AGT and all these other things. And it's how many. It's a tabulation of how many people you got to believe in you and your mission and your platform. Right.
Okay. So you heard it here.
Heard it here.
That's the way it's gonna work. So no last minute anything like call in this, that. It is gonna be a done deal. So then it's like, okay, what it is on the midnight of the 23rd, that's as good as it's gonna get. You can breathe one way or another, and then it's gonna be the waiting game.
Right.
All right. Well,
it's gonna be a waiting game, and everybody should be excited. And and pumped up, and I can't wait. Some of my I've fallen in love with my team. I've fallen in love with other people on the other teams. There's so many amazing people that are all giving, and yes, you've had to be, which was part of it, right? Like you could speak directly to how much you've been stretched from the time that you started until now, right? And thank goodness, like we live in a day and age. Like I posted 2 things on Facebook today, right? I'll just read one of them straight off of it because this is the kind of way that impactors have to think. I'm live on my own page. Good job on that. You're
Thank you.
But basically, I said for the next 10 years, number 1, listen to people who are where you want to be. Listen to people who are where you want to be. Say things that make you feel bad about yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, admit that you're lazy and do something about it. Number 3, realize nobody gives a shit about you and get to work caring about other people immediately. Stop fucking whining. That's number 4. No change in your life worth mentioning was ever made when you weren't in pain. So put yourself in pain and stop letting the world do it for you. Right? So that's the kind of coaching like this. I say that because that's the kind of coaching that y'all have been getting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how much this feel goodism, politically correct world keeps exacerbating the virus against progress. It will always come back to the fact that it's to the individual and how we decide to act and interact one-on-one or with a group over screen or in audiences, right? Mm-hmm. And who you are speaks louder than anything that you put out in marketing. I will just say, it's those 2 things, you've got to be aligned. There is no such thing as privacy anymore. There is no such thing as hiding your shit anymore. There is no such thing as you being and projecting something that you're not. You can't do it anymore, so stop trying. Right? Be the best you can possibly be so that you can be the best servant to other people. And I think that should be the motto of what the next impactor is all about. And what I'm watching, the people who are really competing have to fight their own demons, not the demons of racism, not the demons of sexism, not the demons of elitism versus where you come from money wise. It's the demons that we have to fight that we are able to control in our own lives. Yeah. And that's what I love about this competition. And that's what I love about all of the competitors are going to leave this that decided to play the game, right? All of them are going to leave better people, better leaders, better impactors.
Absolutely. And better connected with each other. Because in the end, I do believe that we have a connection and we have a strength together. And so my goal and my hope, and that's why I've extended this, and I will even extend to a second season, and that's 365 days, guys. So, you know, if I don't have all the next impactors on by the time I'm done with 365 days, I am willing to go on for a second season, because, you know, we do need to unify. Because in the end, there will be one picked, yes. However, all of us are winners. All of us are winners. And if we all can help each other in each other's missions and movements, connecting someone, doing this, doing that, we will all not only be the winners, all of our impact and the communities and the people we wish to serve or that we are currently serving will be winners too. That is very important.
And that's where the Misfit Nation was born. You know, it was a couple of my followers of the Bald Avenger show, you know, the podcast started saying, you know, Misfits so we tagged it Misfit Nation. And now it's like this loosely held group of people who have messed up at some point in their life, made it right with who they hurt, and decided at the end of the day to come back around and forgive themselves, which is a part of the process, and then use their pain to go out and lift other people up. That's what Misfit Nation's all about. And I welcome anybody. I mean, you're definitely a misfit, right? And definitely,
thank you.
Yeah, you definitely belong.
Proud to be.
Yeah, proud to be, exactly. And that's it. Like we've got to come together. You know, those of us we got to stop letting people divide us for power and for profit. We have to.
Absolutely. I will say this. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is one of my favorite cartoons, and you know why? And I even have all the characters for my Christmas tree because of Misfit toys.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yes. Okay, so us misfits. Yes, see?
Yeah.
All right. As we start to close, I do want to bring one more image up because this individual, and I didn't catch the one with his wife. However, I want to recognize the fact that, and I didn't catch the ones for the day, but we have some amazing people that will be our MCs for both the day and the evening. So those people that have not purchased tickets and they want to come individually, and if you know an impactor, go to your impactor of choice that has the message that you can resonate with. If it's before the cutoff, if it's after, then what you want to do is you want to be there because the daytime is going to be pretty incredible and the evening is going to be spectacular. So do you just want to talk? I know we're a little over time, but if you've got a few moments, let's talk about that, because we want to make sure that this place is completely sold out and everybody gets to have an amazing time.
Yeah. So the day part is going to be, you know, the tickets, what are they? They're $135 a seat. I can tell you that having just one of the speakers, right? Just one of the coaches speak for a day, that ticket would be very, very underpriced.
Oh yeah.
And so we've got 5 of us, and then we've got Francesca, who's from South Africa, right? Who you had on your show. Yes, amazing woman. I mean, you talk about a woman who is powerful and stood up against an entire governmental regime. That's your girl. You know what I mean?
I love her.
That's your girl.
Yeah.
She's a badass. And and then you've got Naira, you know, from Moscow. So there's going to be the 5 coaches and then 2 other guest speakers that are going to be speaking for a few minutes. But I can tell you that my talk is going to be something nobody's seen before. And I've spoken over 3,000 times. It's something that I put together very specifically for this event, and it's going to be around how do you get right with making money, and how do you put that structure together for yourself, right?
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so I can tell you that if people are thinking about getting a ticket, if they're holding off until the last minute, Jeff, I think today or tomorrow is fixing the website so that you can finish buying the tables directly from the website. You'll be able to go directly to the Next Impactor website and get the tickets. But bring your friends, bring anybody that you know that needs a little bit of a boost. Warn them about me and say everybody else is going to be awesome, and just get them in the damn room. Like, get those tickets, because I think we only have 120 seats left. We only have 120 seats left, and I know that when we open up those doors tomorrow, those are going to start to go fast.
Yeah.
And I don't think that includes the table that you just bought for another 10. So we might have 110 seats left is all. Okay, so get there now.
May I say, it wasn't me. I did get a sponsor.
So you have a sponsor. Who is it?
Office Solutions is the name of their organization. Yes, Front Office Solutions. Thank you for sponsoring Chemo Buddies for Life and Tamara Hunter, Tamara.
Well, you can tell me their name, or just tell them that we're going to have a hell of a party in my room on the night before. So I'm
checking to see who's going to, of their organization, who's going to be representing them. And so I'll be finding that out soon. Awesome. But yes, they came in as, I actually did get a sponsor.
Good for you. And I'm proud of you. And I think we've got 4 or 5 other people. I know Chris has got some people on the hook. He already had somebody that bought a table and sponsored him. And, so it's going to fill up those 120 seats. That's going to go fast. Get them. The other, Dom, who you showed that picture of, we call ourselves Ebony and Ivory for a very good reason. I mean, he's a little light skinned and I'm a little darker, but
I know him. He's an interesting one. So yeah, between the two of you, I get it.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like and I always love watching him. There's very few speakers at this point, this day and age, that I will sit in the audience and listen to, and Dom's one of them.
Oh yeah,
because I love him. Like, he's genuine. He's not faking anything. He is who he is. So he's going to be, him and his wife, who's actually more of a powerhouse than he is. They're going to be emceeing the event, making the transitions, and we have the room. You know how, like, when you watch AGT and they've got a room back in the back and it's sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. We have a room that's now being sponsored by Earl Nightingale, Earl Nightingale. And so when the top 25 are back in the back, right? You guys are going to be being interviewed on screen, and you're going to see your interviews with the Earl Nightingale something or other. I got to get this right. I got to get it exactly right. Earl Nightingale Legacy Lounge.
Awesome.
There may or may not be a Nightingale that's speaking on stage as a surprise. We may or may not have.
I don't know about you guys, but I am even that much more excited. It warrants.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have any of that, but
that's okay. That's all right. It's the misfit in me.
Yep. And here's another little secret for everybody. And there's some things that we're keeping in the background that are going to be happening that we're not telling anybody, but we may have BB King's daughter singing us a song.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. We got some really cool people that know cool people. Wink, wink. Yeah.
Wink, wink. Yep.
Wink, wink.
It just keeps getting better. And it's because of the work that you and the top 25 have done. You guys have worked your asses off. You have faced down your demons. And for the most part, not every one of the top 25, you guys put yourself in difficult situations, and you overcame all the negativity. You overcame your families going, what is this bull crap? What are you doing? How dare you stand out from other people? How dare you try to change your stars? Like, all the bullshit that we hear from our families, you've overcame it. You deserve a night of celebration. And what Jeff and Lauren have committed to do is to put together the greatest show for that day that we possibly can to celebrate all of your efforts. And I know from my perspective, I'm so proud of my team. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of everybody that's been working their ass off. Misty Lane, you know, you know, Misty's been working her tail off, and even though she has this fetish with crosses, you know, I feel like honestly, if I had any sin in me at all and I watch any of her live, I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty automatically because of the cross wall. Did you interview her yet? Did you interview her yet?
Oh yeah, I've interviewed her. Yeah,
and was the cross wall in the back?
Yeah, she's had her crosses in the
back. So I'm telling you.
I know those crosses. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, one of the last questions is so important. So, because Lauren's been asking all of the people, and I know that you're a gentleman, so I'll ask you: have you said yes to the tux yet?
Oh, hell yes.
Yes. Is it new? Is it something pretty spectacular?
It's brand new. So I have a tailor, and his name is Kirk Chug, and he is one of the best tailors on the face of the planet. So every time I have, you know, one of these spectacular events, he makes me a custom, like this suit, like, you know, all my shirts. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to get dressed because I'm in two modes. You know me, right? I mean, you know the stuff that I do. I'm either in workout clothes or I'm in a suit. There's no in between. There's no in between. But he has made a phenomenal tux for me.
Okay, I have something to share.
Okay.
I, in all of the calls and everything I've been doing, I hadn't been able to say yes to the dress yet. However, I now also have my first sponsor designer, is what he calls himself. And I went yesterday to go get fitted for a custom design dress by Tommy Lee, who is the designer of the Kiss the Monkey people and many of the top performers from Vietnam and in LA. Many know Tommy Lee. His dresses have been featured on many top covers, you know, of magazines, and he's my sponsor for my dress.
Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait. I would ask you more questions about it, but that's part of the issue is you just want to show up and go, bam, you know?
Yeah, so I don't even know. He showed me the material and I'm not going to know because he said he's just got it in mind and he already had pre-bought. So anyway, yeah, so I had to share that because that's new. Okay, so we have gone on, and yes, thank you, Jeff, for the congrats. And you know, the thing that I'm glad that we had, and it worked out perfect because I really did. I had an amazing guest for today. She had to reschedule for Thursday. And so it really worked out perfect for you to come on today because of all the time, you know, so we could discuss the time that people have some time through today and through tomorrow, and then to discuss how the balance of this period of time in August is going to be working. And so that it's clear and concise and everybody has the answers, hopefully, that they have. And if they haven't gotten an answer, possibly they can put it here in the comments, and so we can all have a place to reference. And
if anybody has any questions, they can sure ask us. And you know, and because it's 300, this is Sparta.
I love it. You know, it was.
We're just kicking all the negativity. We're kicking the negativity people in the pit, right in that scene. This is Sparta.
Yes, that's right.
Knocking them out.
It's the next impactor.
That's right.
All right, you know, guys, this has been amazing. Oh, Amy, she's been doing the shows with me every morning for the Fusion Project. Thank you, Amy, and raising funds and awareness for that project. She's actually going to stay. Can I just say this, that the next impactor did one more thing that they may not be aware of, and that is the Fusion Project. It needs to have public awareness. However, given the nature of what they are doing with helping our girls not to be targets and such things, they had to stay somewhat under the radar. And so Amy Morrison has decided to help with their public message. And she is going to stay with the Fusion Project once the next impactor is done. So that's another one of the benefits that this program has given to the nonprofits of choice. And so I just want to say thank you for that, Amy, because, you know, Michelle's very excited about it, the founder of that nonprofit. So another win for the next impactor.
Amy's awesome. Lots of love, Amy.
Yes. So as we close, is there anything that, I know we've been talking, but we've been having some fun and good information. Is there any other things, a nugget that you would like to leave us with?
You know, here's what I mean, what my next couple of years, 2 or 3 years, because I had to reset, right? I hit a major objective. I sold all of my businesses except for 3. And, you know, and I had to reset some goals. My next 3 years are going to be 100% focused around helping people that, like me, that had to fight. Like, this is the issue. When somebody like me that comes from the wrong side of the tracks, doesn't have the right last name, doesn't come from the right zip code, doesn't have the right pedigree, all that other kind of stuff. When somebody like me sneaks in the back door of success, there's people that don't necessarily like that I'm there, right? And now they can't get rid of me. And now what I want to do is bring along a bunch of my low-class friends. You know?
There you go.
So
I love it.
the next 3 years, I'm going to flood the world as much, which is much power as I possibly can. I want to flood people with the knowledge that I gained about how to make money, how to build businesses, and how to influence and impact the world. And, you know, we do that with my consulting company already. We don't help businesses that don't, in their P&L, already support a charity of something. Could be a tuba, could be cancer, could be whatever it is. Then that's my thing. But we want to help more. We want to help good people make more money, get more time so they can do more good. And that's it. Building Misfit Nation to be the strongest, wealthiest, most impactful group of human beings that has ever lived on planet Earth. That's my mission over the next 3 years. And I'm doing that by my comedy platform. Anybody that wants me to come do comedy, anybody that wants me to do motivational speaking, anybody who wants me to come to their business and talk about business, all of it, right? And we're doing it. And we built a 12-week course. Misty just said it, who I give her a lot of crap about her crosses, but every one of those crosses means something to her. And I love her. I love her dearly. So,
we all do.
But you know, I have a course, and just like me, it's irreverent. Okay. It's called Growth, Mastering Your Business G-Spot. Okay. And G stands for growth for those of you that are trying to be naughty minded out there. Right. And but I built that course when I don't have to, and I built it for people that are small, that can't afford the consulting side of what I do. They're small businesses. I put the best information I could into 12 weeks, $18 million for one of our business owners, $464,000 for another, $5 million for another, $5 million for another. That it does, it helps people that are looking to do the right hard work. It's not easy, but
nothing is easy that's worth doing.
No. And it's every step of the way. Every mistake I've made is embedded in that. Every learning lesson I made is embedded in it. And it's one of the things of all of the companies I've ever built, I'm most proud of that G-Spot course.
Awesome. Okay, so you're having a special request. Are you going to do any comedy at the finale?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. That would be fun.
We shall see.
Okay. Well, yes, we shall. We shall.
Helene is to get through her last.
Yes. Helene is one of our chemo buddies for life. And tomorrow she is going to be celebrating her very last day. In fact, let me get my bell for her. She has a big cowbell she's going to be ringing. She's been through chemotherapy already, and she is finishing her last day of 4 weeks of radiation that has been pretty grueling, and she's made it through.
Well, Helene, you have people out here that love you. I love you. I'm sending you tons of energy, and we wish you the best, and get well quickly, because you can see what Tamara's doing in her impact in the world. We need you well. We need you back on your feet, and we need you out here. So we love you, and you're going to do great. And congratulations through making it all the way through that.
Yes, yes. And in fact, she's already told me what her goal is. Her goal is that next August, she'll be arriving at the next Impactor Season 2 event.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I can't wait to meet her. I cannot wait to meet her.
Yes. Yes. All right. So as we close day number 300 of 365 Days of Awesome, celebrate success through service, Coach Jason Sisneros, I want to say thank you for being the amazing, real person that you are. You are truly an example and an inspiration to so many of us, because life is never going to be perfect. It's not. And to be real about it. However, life is so amazing each and every day. The adventures that we can have, the impact that we can make, and the lives that we can change as a Misfit Nation, and as the next Impactors, and as the amazing people that you are out there touching. And if you end up we're close to Sparta, you'll have to take a picture, a selfie, and send it back and connect it to this show. I want to thank you for all the time that you've spent with all of us. Please go back and read all of the comments, because I haven't shared them like I normally did, because I knew we had so much information and that we would be sharing a lot today. But there's so much love and appreciation for you, for Jeff, for Lauren, and for the other coaches. Of course, I had to shout out Coach Todd. Yes. And
he's, by the way, he's one of my best buddies. So I love Todd.
Yeah, he's amazing. I do appreciate him a lot. I truly do. And so I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on to the show, coming across team. Because I felt comfortable in asking you for a variety of reasons, but when I knew that you were helping to represent and be our token Lauren for right now, that it would be completely fine, that it would be appropriate. Exactly. And that's what I wanted to remain, is appropriate. And so thank you for accepting the invitation. Go out and make it an impactful
wait
day.
a minute. I want to say thank you to you, because everybody watching this and everybody that tells me, like you said, we've been tracking each other like this for a couple years, right?
Yeah, we have been.
I just want to let you know how much everybody appreciates the shows you do, the work you put in, the love, the dedication, the sacrifice. People see you, and they appreciate you, and they love you, and I love you, and you always have my support, anything that you need. So thank you for doing what you do.
You just touched me very deeply. Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Okay, everybody go out and make it an awesome day. And remember that you all have a service hero inside of you. Go out and make it a better day for yourself and for someone else. Give a smile, open a door, give a random act of kindness. It's called service. Thank you. See you all later. Thank you, Jason.
My pleasure.